Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Alco and Monty, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Trident Wargaming. I'm Andy, if you haven't already noticed my voice over the last season. And today with me is returning Mr. Jason, my BoltAction buddy.
Well, howdy.
Doing well, are you?
Yeah, keeping her together.
Excellent. Yeah, no, been busy myself, but still enjoying everything. So having to pull out a whole bunch of new box sets and whatnot for BoltAction, so it'll be a brand new year for it. So
Nice.
Good. So yeah, like jumping into it, I guess. This episode, we are wanting to talk about some tank war. So exactly, those big behemoths that everybody loves, the tanks of World War II, right?
Yeah, man. Everybody. Nobody is like, oh, boring tanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whether or not they fit, their ideal in the main game or not. Is it better to take more infantry in BoltAction? Maybe it is. But in tank war, all of that is out the window.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. You still have the same elements in the game, but ultimately, it's made for the tanks.
It's a little more tanky.
So before we jump into it, we'll talk about some of our hobby progress and what we got going. The usual hobby talk we do. So I'll let you start off, Jason. What do you got going on? What are you doing? What's new?
I have nothing in regards to models in a sense, but I've been working on my game room.
Ah, okay.
So a new game room. I gave my old game room up as an office for my wife, who works at home most of the time. So now I've had to find a new game room, and I'm working it. Got the table up. Now I'm, putting all the stuff on the shelves, the models in the cases, putting it all together. So hopefully in a week or so, we'll be throwing dice down on it.
Nice. Yeah, I know. We gotta get back to our Stalingrad fights.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
TBA, man. But that's really all. Not a whole lot of model painting, because my model painting desk and area is pretty much all the stuff that had to come off the shelves is on there temporarily, so that it's just a big giant pile, so I can get it back onto the shelves as they're set up and whatnot.
Setting up the new forward base.
The new observation base there. FOB for the SOB.
That's awesome. Oh, I can't wait to check it out when we're rolling dice and stuff
For sure.
Our Stalingrad fights and whatever else we throw at each other, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's good to hear. One day.
What do you? Oh, sorry. What?
I was gonna say one day I'll have that. So.
One day, Andy. That's okay. Till then, I need people to populate mine.
Yeah. Very nice.
So what do you got in the tubes?
Okay. Well, right now it's a whole bunch of tanks.
Nice.
I ended up busting out my Soviet tanks to see what I had built already. See if I need to touch them up or anything. And then I went into the vault and started pulling out some of my pile of shame boxes. And I ended up slamming together another Stug.
Nice.
So I think I have 2 more of them to put together. So that'll be like 4 in total.
Sweet.
So I'll slam another one together, and possibly for this future event that we're going to be doing here. And then I pulled out my British tanks to see what I had. So there's a Churchill and I think a couple of Shermans that I have for that. Otherwise, yeah, just kind of going through some boxes. I even pulled out my Matilda 2 tank troop.
I love Matildas. I love how they look. They're such a fun tank.
Yeah, it was one of those box sets that I was like, do I get the single that's like resin, or do I get the 3-pack that's all plastic?
Oh yeah.
And of course, knowing me, it was like, that's a better deal.
Go for 3. Yeah, go for 3. Man.
And it's plastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up busting that guy out as well because I had previously started building one. And I was like, you know what? I better like finish at least this one to see what it's like.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then, kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff that I do. Working on a lot of stuff for like unboxing videos and this and that. So, and also stuff for the podcast. But just recently, the big thing was setting up kind of like a player's pack for the month of February, the end of the month. Locally, we have a tank war event that we'll be hosting at the local store, Red Claw Gaming.
Nice.
Yeah, so I know you and me have talked about this before.
Yeah.
Off the podcast, of course, but that's what we're here for now. So yeah, it's one of those events trying to get people back to the tabletop. I know things have been tough and people have been itching to play, but I figured it would be just a fun event, taking like 3 tanks and at a certain point level, which I've had to amend, so I've decided to go with like 750 points of mid-war. So pretty simple. Just bring these tanks out that you like and you want to play, and I'll have some scenarios on the tables depending on how many people we get. And I think so far I've got either about 8 or 10 people who are coming or interested. So
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's good.
I just can't decide if I want to go with my Canadian, armored units, or work a little bit and do some Soviet action. I'm in a pickle, Andy.
Yeah, unfortunately, my Soviets are more later war, I guess. And I don't have enough for kind of that mid-era. But I do have a lot of other options with the other nations. So what I am planning on doing is probably getting, Axis and Ally forces done up, just in case some other people take interest and want to join in on the fun.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I have like a gajillion German tanks I can choose from too. So
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm feeling that Germans are going to fill up first on tank war.
So far, from what I can tell, just knowing the player base, it's looking fairly equal at the moment.
Okay.
So the good thing is guys like yourself and me who have the multiple nations from both sides, we can definitely like fill out the holes, right? But I think it's going to be mainly Germans for the Axis, of course, and probably a good mix of Soviets and Americans. So, so it's good. Actually, I just had Tony Friesen reach out to me throughout the last couple of days. It's a return of Tony. We haven't seen him for a while, but as soon as he heard tanks, he was like, "I'm in." So
sweet.
So it'll be good. It'll be good fun.
I'm excited.
And I figured, like over multiple tables, we're going to have the players face off against each other. I'll probably have teams of 2 with the amount of numbers that we have, just so that we have enough decent terrain to spread out to do the missions. So missions I'm still going to design, but it should be pretty fun. And I'm hoping that showing this part of the BoltAction game off as well will bring in some more interest for other people too.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
get some of those 40K dropouts.
yeah. That's funny. No, it's funny, but it's true as well.
It is definitely true.
But it's one of those things because, like, yeah, a lot of the guys who've played BoltAction over the years with us, they like to shake it up a little bit, and having the collection already, and a lot of guys actually have a lot of tanks.
Yeah.
When they hear Tank War, they like vibrate. They just like, oh yeah, let's do it, right?
Totally.
So, and hey, it's awesome.
Yeah, and everybody has tanks, whether they use them in their army often or not.
Yeah.
You just see a tank, you're like, oh, that's awesome, and it's $40 or whatever. It's not gonna break your bank usually.
No, and they look cool, right? Like
and they just look cool. They look cool on a shelf, whether you get to play with them or not. Like I say, BoltAction generally, it's a tank light game.
Yeah.
Unless you're going mega points. But so that's part of the reason I'm excited for Tank War is I just get to go nuts, man.
It's kind of like normally, like again, this event I have adjusted to just for shits and gigs, come down, have fun, play it out. So we're not using full forces, right? But
yeah,
mounting that there's enough time in the day that we play, if guys wanted to play a second match, by all means, right? Now, going forward with this, if this does well, which I believe it will, it gives me the idea of actually setting up a league-esque, kind of scenario, or even a tank war campaign itself, where it's kind of concentrated on a certain section of the line, right, in Europe or something like that. But
yeah,
in this setting, what I've done is, and we'll go into this in the episode, I want to use the actual experience for the players in this match. So normally you would start off with an experience, or regulars. There's some circumstances, but we'll go into that later. And you play your games, and you'd have to gain the experience in this and that, right? So it's not really until like maybe your second game that you actually start using some of these skills and stuff. So what I've decided is, okay, everybody make a force 750. You got to be regular, so everybody's on the same board. You have a bit better morale than inexperienced, and you're not hitting at fours, right? So
yeah,
everybody
getting pinned by machine guns,
Yeah, exactly. Go with that, and everybody will start with 100 experience points, right?
Sweet. Now that's 2 rolls on the chart, if I'm
remembering
correctly.
So what it is it's 50 points to roll for a skill.
Yeah.
So now players make the decision if they want to split it between a couple tanks. That's totally fine. Or if they want to dump that 100 points into one tank.
Make a big baddie.
Exactly. So this allows the players in this event to actually experience the skills that you get to roll for in the game of Tank War.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
So everybody's on the same level. Everybody's decided what tanks they want to play within the point bracket. So, that's up to them, which is cool. I'll obviously look. We'll take a look at the actual forces that are brought and try to pair them up, kind of more of equal footing. But ultimately, it'll be to have a lot of fun. So,
Yeah, you can have just as much fun watching your tank explode spectacularly as you can, being the aggressor. Sometimes it's those FUBARs that are the most
yeah,
memorable parts of the game. And we would know, Andy, because we are both FUBAR experts.
completely FUBAR experts.
Yes.
Oh boy, yeah, that's very true though. For the FUBAR, we are. Um, yeah, no, it's. I think it'll be really exciting. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. I think we'll have a lot of fun, and anybody who hasn't played Tank War will get a little bit of a taste of it.
Yeah.
And again, like, you know, if it leads to something else, cool. Now, in saying that, what I've done in the players pack is I've actually made a experience tracker. So
Yes, I saw that, yeah.
so you have these little record sheets that has your, what tank it is, the crew experience, the morale, the player, of course, um, and all that stuff, and their skill set for their crew members,
Hmm.
right? And I've even put in how many kills they got, kind of thing, to a little bit of fluff for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And little service number here and there. But my whole plan of that, this is kind of an opening for players, so you'll have experience already, and this will track what experience you get from these fights.
Yeah.
And what I might do is might bring this forward into whatever event we do next. If we do
Fun.
exactly another battle, another tank war event,
Yeah.
but we open it up to the full amount of points now, right? Guys can go and actually build the forces. They still have those crews, and they can assign those crews to other tanks,
Yeah.
but at least they have some experience now to play with, and then we can start from there. This is just an opening event to show people the game a bit, fast, fun, and furious, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Get people back, back into the swing of it a little bit now that things are, knock on wood, a little bit not cuckoo.
yeah. Exactly.
Enough said. Enough said. Yeah, hopefully it stays on that trend, and we can start, doing more of this. So a great way to get back into it, because we've been playing a little bit,
Yep.
but I know there's still guys that haven't picked up a model in a long
Oh,
time.
oh, for sure. And some of these guys I try to reach out to where I can, just to see how they're doing, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be nice to see all those friendly faces back at the table again, and being able to have that fun with them again like we used to, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
why not
Exactly.
why not try to start now, and hopefully people are good with it. So all the power to you if you want to come out and join in the fun. If it's still not your thing, then hey, that's all good too. So
Yeah, you got to do you, and the
yep,
best we can do is try to make it as comfortable for everybody as possible and as fun as possible. And then there we go. And the new space is amazing.
yeah, no, it's the
Like,
store. The store is like flourishing. It's awesome.
yeah,
And
the I can't wait to see the tables full.
yeah.
Like I can't wait, because I can't say it for anybody that hasn't stopped by yet. You know, and then just look, take a look, even just look at the peek in the window.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah,
Uh,
it's pretty awesome for here in the city. So
yeah, yeah.
no.
By far the nicest space I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Publicly available, right?
Yep, and that's where I'm definitely going to take advantage of being the Sarge there, and getting stuff rolling, and talking with the Leanne and Dave about setting stuff up for events and coordinating, right? So look
Yeah.
out for more down the road because it's going to happen. And you never know, I might approach you guys and ask tons of questions of what you guys want to see or feel like.
I-
So,
yeah.
but
Excellent.
getting to the meat and potatoes now. Tank War, brought to you by Warlord Games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would like to take credit for it, but I cannot.
Yeah, Jason does all the sound effects. So, but yeah, so Tank War in a nutshell, pretty much. If you guys are new to it, um, instead of making just regular platoons, you can now make armored platoons with the bases of your armor. Obviously, your army obviously being tanks and armored vehicles. You can employ infantry in as well, but everything has to be able to be mobilized, right? So,
Yeah.
which is cool. It different things happen with different armies. Like as an example, Soviets sometimes don't need to take transports because they have tank riders.
Yeah.
Right. So
Just hitching a ride, man.
exactly. But to start off with this Tank Wars, you actually have a new selector in the book. Of course, it's been out for a while, so it's not really new. But if you're new to it, it's new. So it's an armored platoon selector, and pretty much what it is you get yourself a command vehicle, and they have a list here. And usually it's tank, destroyer, assault gun, that kind of thing. There is also like armored cars that you can take as a command vehicle. And you have to spend, I think it's an extra 25 points.
25, yeah.
Yeah, for it to be a command.
Yeah. Now, some of the vehicles are specified command,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the cost already in the vehicle, like included.
Yeah.
But others, you can make pretty much any vehicle a command vehicle.
Yeah, and I think
But
they
then-
have a list here too
Yeah.
of command vehicles for the nations and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but following that, like following the command vehicle, you have to take another 2 vehicles minimum, right?
Yeah.
And again, it could be a tank, destroyer, assault gun, artillery, self-propelled artillery, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Fairly standard. I mean, like most war games, and including BoltAction, you need to take your HQ and you need to take your 2 troop, squads or sections, right?
Exactly. And then as you go forward, you can add in more vehicles and infantry and all that stuff too. The only thing is all the infantry has to be in transports or towed by transport kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see when a unit pops out and it's like, infantry, they're going to try to sneak around and get me. No. Machine guns. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, but it's fun. It's fun when you see the forces on the board. There is some special rules for armored platoons and whatnot. And, choosing your command vehicle is not something that you let the opponent know. So it's a secret kind of thing. I mean, eventually opponent will probably figure it out. But the thing with the command vehicles is they give you a bonus to your command rolls and whatnot.
Yeah. Much like a officer would in standard BoltAction.
Exactly.
Only the range is measured 12 inches, I believe, instead of 6.
Yeah. And it's a plus 1 depending on the level of command, I guess, is what it is.
Yeah. Again, same as BoltAction. Pretty much it's BoltAction, only you're trading up your basic choices for tanks.
Exactly.
And then you're not as restricted for tanks, because after your basic choices, tanks are your choices, except for if you want to take some support infantry. They just have to be mounted in a vehicle of some type.
Yep. That's exactly it. They do have some other rules, like special rules, like lack of radios,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So obviously not all nations had the use of it. And they do mention here that French and Soviet and Japanese armored platoon command vehicles pretty much can reduce their morale bonus from like 12 inches to 6 inches. Reduction
Yelling
of
out
like
the hatch.
yeah, waving
or
flags
using flags. Yeah.
exactly. And there's a reduction in points. It's like 10 points. So, if you're using those nations, that's an option in there for it as well. If you're playing like a little bit later war kind of thing, it might not take effect, you know.
Yeah.
But there's that, and then there's like radio networks. So pretty much, if you're like command and platoon are all like the same type of tank, you can pretty much wire in a radio network, and then your whole platoon can get bonus from your commander, right?
Yeah. Plus, I believe it's an additional +1, right?
Yeah, that's the armored platoon commander part of it. Yeah, that's exactly what we were I just mentioned, but +1, and then that like that only affects, of course, the vehicles that belong to the same platoon.
Yeah.
And then they have other stuff too, where like you can go armor platoon commander, but then you have a company commander and a battalion commander.
Yeah,
and
if you're playing bigger games, because their radio network is bigger.
Exactly, and the bonuses are bigger and cost a little bit more, right? But it's pretty good. They have some pretty cool rules for it to represent that. One thing that's slightly different is like vehicles and pinning from like regular BoltAction. So they have a whole bunch of rules here for like inexperienced veteran and regular vehicles. It changes a little bit.
Okay.
So you just have to kind of cross-reference that to the actual BoltAction book to see really what's different. But this is specifically made for tank war, so it's regular vehicles pretty much roll, and 1 to 3 they act as inexperienced vehicles, and like the rest of it, 4 to 6 they act like veterans instead, stuff like that. So inexperienced, every time they're hit by a heavy weapon, they'll have to take a pin. At least as long as the heavy weapon has a pen value on it. So stuff like that. It's not bad. It works for tank war, but it's the same thing. It's just pins, right? So so that's kind of those rules. Those are kind of like your basic add-on rules to tank war. So it's pretty neat. You just go through them, try them out. But some of the cool stuff comes ahead. So not so much like the scenarios and stuff, because like pretty much they only really have the one generic mission, and there's objectives on the board, and you're just trying to take objectives. But ultimately, you can design your own missions if you wanted to, or try some of them out of the campaign books and whatnot. There's plenty out there, really.
Yeah, and there's nothing saying that you can't, with slight adaptation, make even the basic scenarios work out of the main rule book.
Exactly.
Not all of them will work, but most of them should.
Yeah, most of the difference with tank war is it's not infantry or capturing objectives and stuff. It's pretty much units, right?
Yeah.
So, which makes sense, because I mean, if all you have is tanks, well, I can't take objectives because I got no infantry. But in tank war, they've changed it. So, maybe it's a building or something. Maybe it's a radio station or a bunker or something that you're trying to defend or whatever, right? So One thing I did forget to mention is if you are doing tank war, they do say to increase the points compared to like your normal games, right? So usually, usually we play 1250, and even though 1250 is actually not too bad for tank war, but you'd probably bump it up to like 1500, right?
Yeah.
Gives you some options and playroom for tanks and this and that. So
3 tigers.
tigers, exactly.
If that's your bag.
Yeah. But no, it's true though. Like, right, you have that option. So yeah, so objective wives and stuff like that, it's pretty straightforward. So no problems there. Where it starts getting really interesting is now the vehicle crew experience. So
Yeah.
you could play tank war without this, but I think essentially the experience part of it is what makes it pretty special, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So because unlike regular bolt action and like a lot of other games, there are these special rules that you end up having a chance to get. Now, a lot of games like 40K or Horse Heresy, for example, different units have different abilities or skills or traits or whatever, right? 6 inches, it buffs this guy. He's better to hit with, or, I get a reroll an armor save or something like that, right? So there isn't that much of that in bolt action.
No, it really comes down to equipment. Sometimes there's some units with special abilities.
Yeah.
But it's really quite rare. It's probably 1 unit per army, like per country,
Yeah, like Gurkhas, for example, right?
Yeah.
They have special stuff on them that really no other unit has. And it's, I think with bolt action, how they design is they kind of looked at a unit, from history, and okay, what would apply to these guys that, just would apply. Nobody else is going to have it, but this is what makes them different, right?
Yeah, and then also the reverse of it, it's true. I mean, the guy with the gun and the basic equipment on that side is fairly similar to the guy with the gun and basic equipment on this side.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, occasionally there's training differences or whatever, and that's usually reflected in your experience, right?
Yep.
Inexperienced, regular, veteran. And then the very few exceptions, 1 or 2 per army, kind of, the Gurkhas or I can't even think off the top of my head.
Well, even like the Senegalese for the French, right?
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So there's another, but there's not a lot anyway. So they're basically basic troops are kind of the same. It depends on their equipment, and that's really what it is. Ooh, this squad gets access to extra machine gun. Excellent.
Exactly.
This squad gets extra, has access to extra SMGs, and that's where the difference usually comes from.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing here with this is getting back to like the experience of the crews. You actually get to roll for skills when you get the experience. Now, using these rules, of course, you're going to want to, of course, record any of this info down when you're playing. But for your crew, they do gain experience, and what it is pretty much you will get experience for destroying enemy units, and or surviving the battle.
Yeah.
So now they do have rules in this portion of, if your tank gets knocked out, you actually roll to see your crew, who of your crew actually survives the destruction of your tank.
And for me, that's actually part of the fun of this rule set, is it's not just, well, that tank is, you know, X good. You know, that tank has X experience and X skills. It's that driver, that commander, that gunner.
Yeah.
So they divided it. So it's cool when you get your experience and you get to spend it. You get to roll a dice to see who out of that crew kind of picked up the lessons and gets the bonus, gets the
That's exactly it. Yeah.
which I really like. I think generally it's just that tank is a little bit better at shooting or something. This really divvies it up and makes you think about the different roles that these guys play in the operation of the vehicle. It's super fun.
No, for sure, and that's why in this event coming up, that's why I ended up saying, everybody gets experience right off the bat, is so
Yeah.
people can experience this, so that people will have fun and try out some skills and this and that, have some good laughs, right? So, but yeah, like destroying enemy units for experience, gaining experience, you're pretty much taking the points of the tank and dividing it by 10 and then rounding down. So that's how many experience points that you'll gain for taking out those vehicles.
So 60 points for taking out a King Tiger.
There you go. Surviving a battle, you'll get an extra 20 points. So you can see as we mentioned before, it takes 50 points to actually roll for a skill. So if you have one tank that's doing really well, more than likely they're the ones that are going to be rolling. But it could take a couple matches, right?
Yeah.
The one thing about this is you actually don't know what skill you're going to get until you're actually playing in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you declare that you're spending those points and you're going to roll for skills in the game as it's happening. So pretty much you decide to give one of your tanks an order, and before the order is actually given, that's when you would declare that, okay, they're going to spend experience to roll on for skills.
Yeah.
So, and then as you go forward, as you have more games and you're playing and this is happening, depending on how many skills that your crew has gotten will increase their actual overall morale. How experienced are they now in these battles?
Yeah.
So 0 to 1 skills, you're inexperienced. 2 to 3 skills, you're regular, and then 4+ you're a veteran. So that's pretty neat too. Prolonged games and an advancement system that they have that's pretty straightforward. So it's pretty cool. It's going to be interesting to see in future games where everybody's sitting. Maybe they have a legendary tank crew that's been surviving every game.
Yeah, and some of these skills are pretty darn good. For instance, the first skill the driver, in the first one listed, is quick reflexes for the driver. And when that guy is attacked, there's an attack declared against him, his vehicle can make an escape move as if he's a wrecking vehicle.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, that's awesome. Or in the driver skill still, eye for terrain rule, when you play this vehicle and it ends its move within 12 inches of any away from and in cover from enemy units, the vehicle can go hidden as if it started with the hidden deployment rules. So
And
if you're at
that's
least
pretty
12
powerful.
inches away and you're behind cover, that's crazy. All of a sudden, it's that difficult to hit your vehicle. Boom.
Yeah, so a lot of these skills have like defensive and kind of offensive
Yeah.
abilities and stuff, right? Um, so the neat thing is when you do end up using your skills, you end up having to roll on a chart to see who is going to get a skill. So 1 to 2 is your driver, 3 to 4 is your gunner, 5 to 6 is your commander, right? And as Jason mentioned, there's these two skills, but I guess what we can do here is we can kind of read off and go off of these skills so you guys can hear what they are. As Jason mentioned, quick reflexes. It's the recce ability, pretty much. The next one would be lead foot. So pretty much when you give your vehicle a runner advance order, you actually get an additional 6-inch move.
Which is huge. If you're advancing 9 inches, well, all of a sudden you're advancing almost as far as a run.
Yep.
And you can shoot. Yeah.
Yep. No, it's pretty good. Could get you into that position. Could get you into just that little extra inches of, you know what? I'm in cover now. I'm not in the open, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still taking the shot, kind of thing, right? So
Totally.
it's pretty good.
Crankhead, the next one. If you're a fixed turret or fixed gun vehicle, this one is great. It gives you, when you issue a run or advance order, the vehicle can make an additional turn of up to 90 degrees during its move. So if you got sneaky little tanks moving around behind you,
Yeah.
you can get that extra move. I mean, if you can't turn your turret, you can get that extra move to get the shot off. Or even if you can turn your turret, you can turn your facing, because if you're like me, you're probably going to miss that vehicle that's got up behind you, and it's really difficult to get enough turns in to present that ideal facing. Yeah, it's not bad either. Looking at them, they're all good so far.
Yeah, I don't think there's really very many downfalls to these skills.
No.
So we've talked about Ida Terrain already. That's the going hidden one that Jason mentioned.
Yeah.
Then you have push through. So pretty much when you give your vehicle a down order for any reason.
Ooh.
So pretty much it gets turned from a down to an advance. So the vehicle is given that instead, even if it's already acted that turn.
So, for instance, if you get a crew shaken
Yep.
order, like if somebody shoots you and hits you and you get crew shaken, boom, your vehicle's moving forward instead of backwards.
Yep, that's true. Yeah. And if it's an advance, well, it's an advance, you're able to fire, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting one. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, it's an advance order, so yeah, you're moving, you're still able to fire. So makes for interesting situation. Next you have Bulldozer. So pretty much when you decide to do a run order, so this vehicle can make another assault without a need to roll an order test, even if it's pinned. And it automatically rolls a 6 for the resulting assault.
Ooh.
So
you can really ram, which I think I've seen once in a game. So it doesn't happen that often, but maybe it would if I had the Bulldozer rule.
So pretty good. Even though that one is like pretty strong for what it does, out of that whole set, I think maybe that might be the weakest one, because I mean,
Oh yeah, totally is.
it's probably not going to be
Funnest question mark?
Yeah, I would say so. For sure. Just ram into things and get like 6s. Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool. And that's just driver skills, right? Like,
yeah. The gunner.
Oh, what is the driver doing? Oh, he's just going back and forth. No. He's got some extra skills.
Yeah.
But you're saying gunner skills.
Yeah, so in the gunner skills, Deadeye, Play before you roll to hit. Add 3 to a single shot's hit modifier. Remember that a 1 is always a miss, regardless of modifiers. So you get to add 3 to your shot
to hit. Yep.
Yeah, a single shot. Big whoop. That obviously I'm putting that on my big gun. It's a single shot anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely to make sure that you're hitting when you need it, right?
Yeah.
Like there's that critical, crucial moment, and you're like, yeah, I got to use this.
Yeah. Snap shooter. Play after the target. After a target attempts to react, the target shot at cannot react
To being targeted.
to being targeted, including abilities like Recce. So you cannot react, so that means you can't go down. If you're shooting at one of those piddly men running around. But B, no Recce, boom.
So I think that kind of counters quick reflexes, right? So play after target attempts to react. Play when an attack is declared against the vehicle. This vehicle may make an escape move. Maybe not, because
doesn't say it's a reaction.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well,
I'm sure that might come up at some point.
Probably that would be the friendly referees 4+ and whoever, you'll make the decision on the fly. Hair trigger. Play after this vehicle makes a run move. The vehicle may shoot after making a run move. That can be huge. Getting into position on the first turn. That's where it's going to be big. Or being able to run into a position where you get a side or a rear angle shot instead of front armor.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Adrenaline rush. Play after you fire this vehicle's main gun. The main gun can be fired a second time this turn, but must be targeting the same unit as the first. Well, that's not so bad. I'd take that, a second shot, because I'm missing with my first.
Yeah, that one could be pretty good for when your numbers are good to hit, right?
Yeah.
Double fire, if you don't take them out the first time, well, second time, let's see if you can do it. If you can't, you better start backing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, man.
Again, pretty good skills, right?
Yeah, they're lethal. It's a good thing you can't. I mean, it really takes a while to. It's not like you're going to have all of these. Most tanks, if they're lucky, will have 1 or 2.
So that's the one thing that I didn't like about the part of the rule set they have, because when you start off, they tell you that your tanks have to be inexperienced, but there are some tank crews that you cannot get inexperienced. So what they say is you're regular, and they actually automatically get 2 skills. Right? So
yeah,
they're already at a huge advantage, right? And that's why I've implemented that in this event.
Yeah.
To just straight up, everybody gets it, not just whoever decided to play this nation that has regulars as tank crews and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So, there could be some adjustments there to, FAQs or something like that. I'll have to check, but
yeah.
The last one for gunner skills is long shot. So pretty much before you target the vehicle's main gun, and your range is pretty much doubled, which, unless you're playing on a huge board,
yeah, it's not really going to come into effect, but it will come into effect for the firing at long range negative modifier.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you wouldn't necessarily get.
Yeah, if you're playing I mean, if you're playing like a super large battle and your battlefield's going to be actually pretty big, then yeah, sure, right? But ultimately, I mean, I don't think many people have like 10 by 10 boards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, regardless, pretty cool. A lot of good skills. Um, that one might be the weakest again, like the very last one. Otherwise, yeah, they're pretty good.
Pretty solid. Some of them are
Mm-hmm.
on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Commander skills now. Lucky. Play when the enemy is about to roll on the damage results chart against this vehicle. The roll is not made and the vehicle does not suffer any further adverse effects from the hit. Oh my goodness.
Pretty
So
powerful.
you can save a vehicle essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Oh man.
one's the commander skills are interesting because
Yeah.
they've got some pretty cool perks. But again, each of these skills from the different sections, right? The crew,
Yeah.
there's at least one that's like really really powerful,
Yeah. That's what we're seeing.
right?
Yeah.
So, but that one there to just be like negate it.
That's huge.
So
Strict discipline isn't bad. Play before you give this vehicle an order. The vehicle loses all of its pin markers.
yeah, so that's like a rally,
Yeah,
pretty
for
much.
free.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would take that. Eagle Eye. Play when this vehicle is nominated as a target of a ranged attack or assault. If this vehicle has line of sight to the attacker, it may react by shooting the attacker with any one weapon system that has line of sight to the attacker. Well, that is okay. Well,
It's
it's of a ranged attack too. So if you're getting shot at by an enemy tank,
yeah,
if you have line of sight to that tank, you can shoot first.
yeah, and so this one, I think this one is best for that scenario that you just mentioned,
Yeah,
because normally if I'm getting assaulted and I haven't activated yet, and you're in my front or whatever, like I can open up fire on the assault,
yeah,
right? Essentially, if they're not close enough. But even still, if I had gone already, you know, at least I'd get like an overwatch on that unit still with one weapon, you know, even if I've had gone already. So, but
yeah,
I think the shooting the longer range, you know, for maybe essentially taking out your opponent before he took you out
yeah.
is definitely pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The next one, motivational leader. Play when you give this vehicle an order. When you use a skill, choose one of your driver or gunner skills that you've already used this game. You may use it one more time in this game. For example, the Deadeye allows you to add 3 to a single shot's hit modifier. Boom, you could use that again. That's going to really, I mean, in most cases, get you that hit, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
And
not too bad.
so
Yeah.
so there is another part to that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if your crew does not have any gunner or driver skills yet, you may choose to re-roll the commander skill table instead of receiving the skill.
Yeah.
So
Because
if you get
it's a
this right off
bummer.
the bat, you know what I mean? Like if you get this right
Yeah.
off the bat and you have no other skills,
Useless.
exactly. So at least they thought of that and said just re-roll.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Battle awareness. Play after both sides have deployed. If both players wish to use this ability, roll off to see who gets to go first. You may reposition this vehicle up to 12 inches away from its original position, but still abiding by the deployment rules. Now that is okay.
So
That's not.
that's like a few games in ability, right?
Yeah.
Because like you're not going to have this right off the bat. You'll get this ability, and it'll be like, well, I can't use it now, so I'll have to use it on my next match.
Yeah.
So me.
Yeah, not the greatest. Follow me, the last one. Play before you give this vehicle a run or advanced order. Choose a friendly vehicle within 12 inches in line of sight of this vehicle. If it has a down order, put that die back into cup. Now that's not bad at all. You just fired with your big gun, tank, and then you get your commander tank next to him to use this order. Boom. That guy gets opportunity to go again when that dice is pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
Or that is not a bad one.
So now here's the other sneaky part about it. So you do that to your tank that has, where is it? I believe it. Oh yeah. So you do that to your tank that took his shot and used adrenaline rush. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now you put that order back into the cup or bag. You pull it out.
Boom.
You play it again, and
That thing gets 4 shots
exactly
with its main gun in one turn.
That's it's a little dirty, but I mean, but that's the combo, right? There's a combo right there that you can do.
Yeah, I really like that the commander, rightly so, his skills really kind of pick and play off of the other crew's skill abilities mostly.
They're the support skills, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
And like that one, follow me. That one, you pretty much, well, you would have to roll a 5 or a 6 for your commander.
Yeah.
Then you would have to roll a 6 again to get it, kind of thing, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you're reading them all out loud, and you're like, "Holy God, this is crazy! These tanks are crazy." But again, your tank crew needs to survive. You're probably, I mean, if you're really lucky, going to get 2 skills on a vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe 3. I think 3 would be like, wow, those guys are aces. They're the heroes. You know?
Well, and that's the difference thing too, is like your tank doesn't have hit points. Your tank doesn't have hull points or whatever. So, you know,
your tank can get 1 shot from the newest tank in the game.
Exactly.
One little old T-70 can target a big old STUIG 33B.
Yep.
And make it go away. One little old T-70.
Exactly. And that's just it. Like, yeah, tanks are glass cannons in a sense. Yes, they can be hard to knock out because their armor might be up there, but if you're playing those games and you have high armor, more than likely you have high guns as well.
Yeah.
So I really like the skills that they have here. You know, there's maybe 1 or 2 that I think are kind of mediocre, but it does bring an interesting flair to the game.
Yeah.
Right. The first time I encountered this was in a regular match. The opponent, I've only ever played the guy once, and he's never been back since. But that's a different story. But yeah, he asked if he can use, you know, his experienced crew. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's check it out. Well, I paid for that. So
yeah.
Just a side note, you can use this in your regular matches as long as your gaming group or you know, friends or whatever agree to it, of course, right? So yeah. Keep that in mind.
The reality, though, is that it won't be fun unless everybody is using it.
Exactly.
You know, the thing that makes this balanced is that his tanks also might have some of these skills. Right, and if that's not the case, then it's just a beatdown in Beatdown City. That's no fun.
Exactly. So, you know, those were the skills, and of course, like Jason said, you know, depending on if your crews survive the battles, they do have optional rules for fighting crews where you can have them kind of run around and take objectives and stuff too. Mainly, usually what happens is your tank gets knocked out and your crew pretty much tries to get to the table edge to survive the battle. They still can get targeted by the enemy, so you still could lose them.
And here's something else: when your vehicle's knocked out, you roll a D3 to determine how many of the crew managed to escape.
Exactly.
So,
and there's the thing too is like, if your vehicle gets taken out by massive damage, there's a modifier to that of -1.
Yeah.
So you could only have one guy that escapes, right?
Yeah.
But pretty much like, after you determine how many crewmen survive, they actually move 2d6 inches towards their own table edge, and at the end of the turn, if any crew member that is still alive will escape, and then it's removed from the play.
Yeah.
So it pretty much gives a chance for like the crew to get out, shows that they're getting out, kind of thing, and running. It also gives a chance for the enemy to gun them down if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
So if you are moving 2d6, hopefully you get enough movement to hide behind a wall and not be visible.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's that main portion of Tank War. They do go into like legendary crews, so they do have named crews and tankers and whatnot, that you can try out in your games if you like, and they already have their own set skills.
Yeah.
And they usually have like 4 skill points, but they are quite expensive. Like Whitman's Tiger one, it's like 519 points, and he's a veteran.
Yeah.
Right, but he's got, not only does he have that, but he also has another ability. But as the skills, he's got like Lucky, Hair Trigger, Bloodlust, and Battle Awareness kind of thing. So
yeah, and he's in a tiger.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah,
but they do have a lot of historical characters and stuff in the game here. If you ever wanted to try that kind of thing, you can. You have that cool options for that: Britain, American, German, Soviets as well, and there's even French. Yay! So you have that, and of course they have the eras of World War II for tank battles, and some missions in the back as well for different places, Battle of France, all that stuff. Hell's Highway, Road to Arnhem, Battle of Bastogne. So a lot of good stuff in here as well that you can play around with. Let's see what else they have here. So then they have an appendix that has an additional command vehicles that you can pick from.
Yep.
And these are the ones that Jason was talking about that already have the bonuses or the extra cost to them, I believe. So there's a lot. There's like, German command tanks and half-track command stuff like that for the Germans. For the Americans, they have like a priest or a scout car. Great Britain, they have a command armored truck, apparently. Italians have a Caro Commando M41. And yeah, looks like mainly Germans have a lot in this. Yeah, they definitely have a lot in it. So, and then you also have armored recovery vehicles, which is interesting. That's a whole other section of pretty much, at the end of the game, it does some kind of recovery for the vehicles and points, I believe. Yeah. Don't know if that would be really used too much, but up to the players. And they have a whole bunch. They have a whole bunch in here as well, right? So it's definitely options to look at. We won't go really through that. Otherwise, the book has like Tanker's Guide talk like a tanker if you want, if you're really into it. It's a lot of stuff like that. Pretty decent book. It'd be nice to see if Warlord Games would actually go further with it and do some other stuff. Maybe a campaign book for specific, tank battles, this and that.
Yeah.
Even bring out, like, I know they've brought out a whole bunch of tank platoon sets.
Yeah,
But
one thing they have been doing is they've been adding more armored divisions and units like that in the campaign books.
yeah, they
So
have.
not necessarily tank war, but they do have options or lists that allow more access to tanks. So not exactly this, but it is kind of a halfway.
True. No, that's true. They spread it out pretty good, and it's good to have that included into a lot of the campaign books, right? Because there are those tank battles that happen.
Yeah.
Desert Fox, all that stuff. Those
And
are pretty cool.
they do list some of them in here. Some of the tank battles.
Yeah, they do. And that's like the scenarios and whatnot that you can run through. So it's pretty good. It's a thick book. I mean, it's like 95 pages, 96 pages. A lot of good info in there. If you're right into the tanks, it's probably a good book to get off to the side. And it's fun, right? And that's the main thing. It would be pretty cool to eventually, like, if you wanted to implement it into your matches and stuff. I know guys would love doing that, or even just sticking to just tank war for it. So
Yeah, I played a tank war game maybe 2 months ago, and it was lots of fun. I mean, my poor opponent had terrible luck. He just could not roll to save his life. But I think we both came out of it enjoying the time, and it was fairly big. I believe, I can't remember exactly, but I believe it was 2,000 points.
Oh wow, yeah, that is big.
So if I remember correctly, I had nine vehicles, 9 tanks. I didn't bother with infantry. So
No, that's what it's all about, though, right? People wanting to bring out their toys, their tanks. It's kind of, I think tank war is kind of like Apocalypse for like Warhammer 40,000 in a sense.
yeah,
Bring out your toys, right? So, hey,
yeah,
if you want to field 3 tigers, you can, but be prepared. The other side's probably going to have like 9 tanks on you.
yeah,
If not more.
yeah. Those Shermans are fairly reliable and they're fairly cheap.
Yeah. No, but it's pretty cool. Nice thing too is Warlord Games, of course, and not just them. There's other companies that have a lot of beautiful tank kits, and you have Tamiya, and you have what is it, Rubicon, I believe.
Yep,
They make some
Rubicon.
beautiful kits as well. The nice thing with this is, depending, because I know a lot of guys, they like to upscale the tanks a little bit.
Yeah,
And
to match closer the scale of the troops.
yeah, so it's cool. Because it doesn't really, it's not really a big, massive effect in game, right?
No.
So it's cool to see guys bring out all these fancy tanks that you've never seen or you don't see on the boards that often, kind of thing, and just have fun with it and just play with it and shoot each other up. And then in the long run, if you're playing with experience, that makes for even a better time too, because guys get excited, right? Now they start, oh, this is my Tiger Ace right here or something like that. So
I'm gonna have to paint little kill markers on my tanks.
yeah, no, that is true. You can even have those little little sayings that they would have, for Betty or whatever, right? Little pinups and stuff. That'd be pretty cool too. Yeah, no, but
Excellent.
yeah, no, that's pretty much it for Tank War in this episode. So it's going to be a lot of fun coming down the road. I'm sure we'll get a lot of pictures. I'll try to share some pictures from the community with everybody else. I'll try to get some of these tanks painted up too for the event. So and that's the beautiful thing too is right now it's an event. There's about a month till the event time.
What day is the event, Andy?
February 26th, the Saturday.
Sweet.
Yeah. So set
What are
aside.
the?
Sorry.
What time are we showing up?
So I have it set for 1:30 to set up like the tables and stuff,
Yeah.
and the game will actually start at 2.
Okay, excellent.
The games, I should say. I'll probably be there earlier because I know
Yeah.
just to get stuff set up and whatnot, right? So and then place the objectives and this and that.
Excellent.
So I am building some tank traps as well to bring along.
Oh, fun! I have so many.
Awesome. So
Sweet.
yeah, just stuff like that. We'll set up a few boards, and I'll probably bring my factory terrain as well.
Excellent.
Set that up so we can use that, and yeah, go from there and just have a lot of fun with it. I think
February 26th, the Saturday,
correct.
1:30 or 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock start.
Yep.
And we're gonna blast our way through. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna explode a lot. That's what I'm gonna do.
There might be a bridge that needs to be taken care of.
Oh, fun.
So
Hopefully it's not too far.
So no, it'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and got some excitement for some tank war. Maybe you guys are doing that kind of stuff in your community. It'd be awesome to see pictures of your tanks. I know Bill does some fabulous work on his tanks when he gets them all done. So, a lot of damage and just wear and tear. It looks pretty cool. And of course, everybody in the community. I know I've seen Jason's stuff. Looks pretty awesome. And there's a whole bunch of other guys that do some excellent work for World War II tanks and this and that. So, but yeah, again, hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you do, please comment and share and let us know what you guys think, or if you have ideas. Maybe you have a battlefield you want to show off. That'd be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but otherwise,
Always looking for ideas.
Exactly. So we'll be taking. I'm going to be taking a lot of pictures of the event. I am going to try to bring out my not my GoPro, my gimbal, and
What did you call me?
yeah, yeah, bring out the gimbal and take a recording. And who knows, maybe go live. So it'll be fun. And then there might be some live moments. Everybody's hooting and hollering. So
Excellent.
just in case guys are gonna miss it, at least there'll be something that they can see, and then they can join in on next time, right? So, but yeah, just stay tuned, and we'll have more of this kind of stuff going on. I think I'm going to plan for an Italiano episode. Looking at the Italian soft underbelly campaign book and some of the new stuff in that, plus the Italian Army overview. We'll probably get back to some of that too.
Excellent.
And then yeah, whatever games we have throughout the weeks to come. So thanks again for joining in, and we'll hopefully see you guys next time.
Poodles.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.